In the annals of aviation history, few tales have captured the public's imagination quite like the mysterious saga of Santiago Flight 513. A flight that vanished without a trace in 1954, only to allegedly reappear nearly 4 decades later, with its passengers and crew miraculously unaged. Santiago Flight 513, also known as VASP Flight 513, was a commercial airline operated by Aviation Area São Paulo, VASP, a Brazilian airline. The aircraft was a Convair 990 Coronado, a twin-engine jet airliner known for its long-range capabilities. On September 4, 1954, Santiago Flight 513 embarked on a routine passenger flight from Aachen, Germany, with its destination set for São Paulo, Brazil. The flight's route took it across the Atlantic Ocean, covering a considerable distance of approximately 10,000 kilometers. On board were 88 passengers, comprising a mix of nationalities, as well as 4 crew members, all of whom had their eyes set on a safe and uneventful journey to their South American destination. The history of world aviation has witnessed several strange disappearances over the decades. These traceless vanishings have become a real deal over time, and the mystery surrounding them keeps people forever in doubt. From the unprecedented death of the infamous female American aviator Amelia Earhart in July 1937 that prompted the U.S. Navy to deploy an extremely expensive search in the Pacific Ocean, to the U.S. 19 Squadron over the Devil Triangle of Bermuda in December 1945, there have been some incredibly confusing disappearances that remain unsolved. Not long ago, on the 8th of March in 2014, a Malaysian plane, MH370, also went off the grid and was never found again. The Malaysia Airlines flight with 239 people on board, including 4 Americans, has gone missing at this hour. Shortly after takeoff, while flying over the South China Sea, the aircraft suddenly disappeared from radar screens at approximately 1:21 a.m. MYT, UTC+8. After the plane went missing, an extensive international search and rescue operation was launched to locate the aircraft. Initially, the search focused on the South China Sea, but as new data and analysis came to light, the search area shifted to the Southern Indian Ocean, west of Australia. After a comprehensive search effort covering an area of more than 46,000 square miles, 120,000 square kilometers, the official search was suspended on July 17, 2017. But what makes the Santiago Flight 513 story most exhilarating is that it actually reappeared 3 decades after it was lost, unlike the rest of the aircraft that never made a comeback. If this story sounds a bit familiar, it may be because it shares quite a few similarities with a 1961 episode of The Twilight Zone, called The Odyssey of Flight 33. Or maybe it's because you used to read the tabloid Weekly World News. In 1985, the tabloid known for conjuring up farcical stories published an article about another flight, Pan Am Flight 914, that reportedly had gone missing for 37 years before turning up again and landing without incident. While the story of Pan Am Flight 914 is undoubtedly a work of fiction, it must have proved popular with readers. In 1989, the tabloid returned to the genre of physics-defying airplanes. This time, the flight was referred to as Santiago Flight 513, and the crew and passengers of this fictional flight didn't fare nearly as well. In the Pan Am Flight 914 version, the passengers all survived. On Santiago Flight 513, the plane was full of skeletons when it landed, or 92 skeletons to be precise. According to the airport officials, the control tower had no communications with the missing plane that circled the airport area and eventually landed after they went to check on the plane and opened its doors. Air support and security were shocked by the gruesome sight. They discovered 92 skeletonized bodies inside the aircraft. The skeletons included all of the 88 passengers and 4 crew members. All of them were sitting in their respective seats. Even more mind-blowing was the fact that the skeletonized pilot of Santiago Flight 513, Captain Miguel Victor Curie, was also sitting in an intact position. He was still apparently clutching the controls. The staff also noticed that the plane was still idling for some reason. The officials refused to comment on or talk about the bizarre reappearance of the missing Flight 513, and they had absolutely no clue where the plane had been for the intervening 35 years. Everyone was confused by this, and the media was eager to find answers. That's when a paranormal researcher named Dr. Celso Otello came forward with his theory. Otello said that Santiago Flight 513 had most certainly entered a time warp. He also said that there was no other explanation for this extraordinary incident. Dr. Celso Otello, however, didn't seem to have any further explanation as to how it happened and why the passengers and crew turned into skeletons. He also couldn't explain how the skeleton of the pilot managed to land the plane safely. Santiago Airlines allegedly went out of business in 1956. All their executives who are still alive today don't seem to know much about the mysterious Flight 513. No one can say for sure whether they actually don't know anything, or are just hiding something sinister. It's been established that the local government and its agents have extensively investigated the bizarre event, however. They refused to discuss anything about the ghostly airliner, or about any leads they had found during their investigation. They also refrained from commenting on Dr. Otello's theory that the plane had entered a time warp, so the government never really came out with any particular interpretation. Conspiracy theorists and paranormal enthusiasts, therefore, strongly believe that the government officials swept this case under the rug. They allegedly cleared out all the evidence that the time warps do in fact exist, and they did this because they don't want to scare the public. But this wasn't the first time something so unbelievable and otherworldly happened to a plane or a pilot. In fact, there have been numerous such reports of pilots losing time, and of people being teleported from one place to another that is thousands of miles away within a few seconds without any rational explanation. There's not a lot of information about Santiago Flight 513 out there. In fact, there isn't any sensational news stories remotely resembling this one or talking about Santiago Flight 513 or Pan American Flight 914. People are inclined to question whether it is legitimate or not, particularly because of the lack of proper evidence, except for the one and only piece of the tabloid or newspaper, which is not precisely verified either. Airplane enthusiasts and conspiracy theorists are, however, inclined to ask that if this engrossing tale wasn't just a mere hoax and was actually based on a real event, then what happened to the allegedly missing Santiago Flight 513 that carried 92 people? And is it really possible to go through a time warp and come back from it on our planet? There are several creepy locations where aircrafts, ships, boats, and even people have gone missing without leaving behind any traces. Some intellectuals are of the opinion that these places possess the ability to unpredictably form a type of time portal called a vortex. A vortex apparently is the result of an interaction with the parallel universe. This theory proposes that a vortex opens in another world, also called a parallel world, which consists of antimatter, and this can absorb people's masses or even time in flight. So this means that people who've gone suspiciously missing in this world without a trace have actually been transported to another world within a matter of seconds. In our world, there are several different and remote places that are incredibly famous for such unexplained and creepy disappearances, and bizarre incidents like the Bermuda Triangle, the Devil's Sea Zone, and the Michigan Triangle. Many people believe that what happened to Bruce Gernon in the Bermuda Triangle might explain how and why Santiago Flight 513 disappeared and then reappeared 30 years later. Bruce is allegedly the only person who survived the paranormal phenomenon occurring in the Triangle of Bermuda. However, the disappearance of Santiago Flight 513 remains an enigma that continues to intrigue and captivate the imaginations of aviation enthusiasts, conspiracy theorists, and the general public alike. Whether the account is rooted in reality or merely a tale of folklore, the mysterious vanishing of the Convair 990 Coronado and its alleged improbable comeback has become an enduring legend in the realm of aviation mysteries. As time goes on, the enigma of Santiago Flight 513 continues to remind us of the unexplained and boundless mysteries that remain hidden within the vastness of the skies. So that's all for today's video, and until next time, take care and goodbye.